Tonight we're studying Parashat, Matot and Massei, and we're studying the holy words of Rav Shimshn Pincus. And Rav Pincus, right at the end of his volume on the book of Numbers, he ends off with speaking to us about the new month of Av, Rosh Chodesh Av, which, ironically, is right now. We just started. Tonight and all day tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh Av, the first of the month of Av. And Rav Pincus tells us a famous piece of Talmud that when the month of Av comes, one is supposed to diminish their joy. Why? Because Tisha B'Av is coming. Tisha B'Av is only 9 days away, and we have to start remembering the destruction of our temples in a greater way. All year long we remember it, but this 3-week period is dedicated specifically. These 9 days it intensifies. The week of, we crank it up and we intensify it more. And the day of Tisha B'Av itself is very similar to the day of Yom Kippur, with the exception of, obviously, being able to drive and not it being like a holiday as well. And we know, as a recap, what happened during this time period in Jewish history. Starting with the 17th of Tammuz, the tablets were broken. 5 things happened on the 17th of Tammuz, 5 things on Tisha B'Av. So the tablets were broken by Moses when he came down and saw them worshiping the golden calf. There was no more daily offering brought in the temple. The walls of Jerusalem were were breached. The Torah was burnt, and an idol was placed in the temple. That was all on the 17th of Tammuz. Tisha B'Av itself, a more severe day, was number 1, the decree that the Jewish people will not enter the land of Israel because of the spies' report and the Jewish people's reaction to their report. Second reason is because the first temple was destroyed. Third reason is because the second temple was destroyed. The fourth reason is because the city of Beitar was massacred and destroyed in a horrible, horrible fashion. And the fifth is that Jerusalem, where the temple used to be, was completely plowed. This is a sad, sad period for us. It's a period where we don't listen to music. There's no weddings, no meat, wine. Now we're starting that. This year, not applicable, but in most years, it's no bathing and laundering. Just as a quick note, Sephardic Jews are allowed to eat meat and drink wine on Rosh Chodesh. That means tonight and tomorrow. And Ashkenazic Jews will not, as of tonight and tomorrow, eat meat or drink wine. Shabbat, everyone eats meat and drinks wine. Starting Massei Shabbat, Saturday night, nobody, not Sephardim, not Ashkenazim, are allowed to eat meat and wine until next Shabbat. And then obviously not on the day of Tisha B'Av itself when we don't eat. But this 3-week period is a period of when we mourn the destruction, the loss of our temples. Now, the tour, I don't expect you to know who that was. That was Rabbi Yaakov ben Asher. He was the Rosh's, Rabbi Rav Asher ben Harush, his son. He writes that there's a halacha that you're not allowed to fast on a Rosh Chodesh. The reason why is because Rosh Chodesh is a happy day. Cannot fast. However, on Rosh Chodesh Av, that would be tonight, tomorrow, or more, let's say tomorrow, it's a day fast, one would be permitted to fast. Why? What makes the month of Av different? He says because it was the day that Aharon Hacohen passed away. And to honor Aaron's passing, you would be allowed to fast on this Rosh Chodesh, the only one. And this day is called the fast day for righteous people. Now, most don't do this, but why is it that there is a halacha that you're allowed to fast on this Rosh Chodesh? Oh, because Aaron was passed away on this day. So what? I want to tell you something. If you look in the entire Torah, from beginning to end, you're not going to find the passing date of any biblical character with the exception of Aharon Hacohen. We know Moses passed away at 120. We know the Talmud even says that he was born and passed away on the 7th of Adar, but the Torah doesn't say that. We believe it, we know it, but when something's written in the Torah, there's a real meaning. We know Abraham passed away at 175, and Isaac at 180, Jacob at 147. We know that there was a lot, but the date of their passing, it's oral tradition. The written Torah only tells us of Aaron's passing. Why? What is different of Aaron's passing compared to anyone else? So Rav Pincus explains that the passing of Aaron was so different because that passing was the loss of an individual who loved peace and was constantly pursuing peace for himself and others. With the loss of Aaron, the entire nation cried, the Torah says. Unlike when Moshe passed away, even unlike when Miriam passed away, only when Aaron passed away did everyone cry. And the Torah records his passing date because there's nothing worse than the loss of peace. Nothing worse than the loss of one who brings peace into others' lives. He says, let's look a little deeper. What was the source of the destruction of the temple? Well, the first temple was destroyed because of the 3 cardinal sins that the Jewish people were committing: idolatry, adultery, and murder. The second temple, however, was sinat chinam, baseless hatred. People just didn't like each other. They're awful to each other. Baseless hatred is when there's a lack of love and peace between the Jewish nation. It's so apropos that a week and a half before Tisha B'Av, 9 days before Tisha B'Av, Aaron passes away to start the mood of this horrible, horrible, sad time for the Jewish people, to teach us the reason why the temple was destroyed was because we're not acting enough like Aaron. Act more like Aaron, and it will be rebuilt. The Mishnah says, be like the students of Aaron who love peace and pursue peace. We need to make ourselves a guide, Rav Pincus says, and a mentor to teach us how to love peace. Because he says something very sad. He says the truth is people don't like peace. You know why? Because peace is boring. There's no action. When there's a disagreement, there's some action. Peace is calm, quiet, boring. When there's peace, everyone's keeping to themselves. People go unnoticed. But when there's a fight, there's an uproar. There's some attention. There's some action going on. There's noise. There's things breaking. There's people screaming, slamming doors. Come on, that's fun. Unfortunately, human nature is to look for those instances and not be content with the simple, boring peace. Unfortunately, many look at disagreements as sweet and enjoyable and, most importantly, entertaining. A great person like Aaron. Aaron was so great. We need people as great as Aaron who would go around and teach us to love people, to love the boring peace, to hate and distance ourselves from exciting disagreements. Rav Pincus says, therefore, the day that Aaron passed away was a sad, 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 sad day, not only for their generation, but for all generations to follow. Because when there's a lack of peace, there's destruction. When there's a lack of peace, the home's burning down. How are you going to go out and conquer anything else? The only biblical character that his passing day was mentioned was Aaron because of this. So it's up to us, Rav Pincus says, to train ourselves, to love peace, and to be like a student of Aaron. And tonight and tomorrow is a day to contemplate that. Contemplate that we can make the difference in our own lives, with our family and friends, in our community, Start off with your own relationships. And if you could help others also, that is so, so powerful. Peace is the only vessel. The last Mishnah of all of Shas tells us peace is the only vessel that Hashem saw fitting to retain blessing. If you want to be blessed, be peaceful. And peace starts at home. Peace starts between you and your spouse, you and your parents, you and your children. If you're Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy and peaceful person outside, well, good for you. But if you're a menace at home, that's the hardest test. The hardest test is, how can we act at home? How peaceful can we be with our family members, with our siblings, with our children, with our parents, with our spouse, with our coworkers? Not out in public, in private. When we work on that, we're genuine about that, then elsewhere it's gonna overflow in a proper way. May Hashem bless us that we will realize the importance of peace, putting peace first, shalom first, compromising first for the other, for the sake of peace. And hopefully our efforts in doing so, Hashem will return and rebuild the Beit HaMikdash, and it will stand forevermore, Be'ezrat Hashem, in merit of the peace that we will promote in our lives and amongst all of Am Yisrael. Amen v'amen.